Howdy folks, my name's Glenn and this is the Cactus Atlas, and today we're going to be doing a hike in Grand Teton National Park. Alright, so the plan for today was going to be different. I was planning on waking up at the crack of dawn and paddling across Jenny Lake and then hiking on my own kayak that I bought, and then hiking up to Inspiration Point and the waterfalls up there, I think Hidden Falls. But that all got thwarted because I went out yesterday afternoon to make another video, and I really just don't know if it's going to be video worthy. But anyway, I bought a new kayak especially for this trip and other things that I'm going to be doing in the future. And I took it out for its maiden voyage. I'd never used it before other than inflating it to test it out at home. So it was kind of a production, but we got it done and got on the lake. I don't know what it was, but I started to feel really nauseous before I even got on the lake. So I'm discounting, not saying it was seasickness or anything like that. I started feeling nauseous when I was pumping the boat because I have a manual air pump, and it's not that hard. And it just generally felt queasy the whole time. So that's why I'm unsure what the video is going to be like. I tried to hide it and act like I was having fun. But then when I took the boat out of the lake, right when I pulled it out, it was embarrassing. There were all these people hanging out on the beach. I just started throwing up, and I couldn't stop. And I didn't have that much in me though. And then I managed to get everything back into the truck or into the car here, and then started driving home and had to pull over a few times, threw up some more, and then went straight, it was about 7 o'clock, went straight into my tent and slept all night. I don't know what that was all about. I've had that happen once or twice a couple of years ago when I really exerted myself, and I think maybe it had something to do with that. I also forgot to mention the other factor that plays into it. A very important factor is if you look at the weather forecast, they're calling now for 40% chance of thunderstorms from, I don't know, like 3 in the afternoon till like 9 at night or something. That was not the forecast yesterday. That was not the forecast a week ago. Even yesterday night, the forecast was there was a small chance for a thunderstorm about 4 p.m. That was it. So my main point is I'm not complaining about that, but that was another factor that went in because I don't want to be kayaking on a lake, especially on the return trip, sick maybe, and then like caught in a thunderstorm. These lakes can get like 3 to 5 foot waves on them when it gets really windy, and the afternoon is not really recommended for non-motorized paddlers on some of those lakes. Now if I stayed close to the shore I'd probably be okay, but so another factor that's going into this morning here on this hike. Look-y there.
Continue on Teton Park Road for 17 miles.
It's my first look at these guys this morning. You can already see the left portion of this. But as we turn here on this corner, notice the clouds up there. Yesterday there was not a single cloud. You might be like, what's your worry, Glenn? That's nothing. I don't know, man. That's looking for trouble later to me. It's early too, it's only 10 in the morning, so I've not seen clouds gather that early. So maybe my choice to not kayak across Jenny Lake was a wise choice today for many reasons, but anywho's, the Grand Tetons. Now another spot I think for kayaking is right around here. Let me peek. This is the Snake River off to the left, and then a reservoir, Jackson Lake over here. We're driving over what I think is a dam. Yes, the Jackson Lake Dam. We're on it right now. And I think it's safe to paddle on kayaking off to the left. Whereas if you were to proceed down the Snake River further into the Tetons, it's not recommended because you need to have, if you're going to kayak or whatever, you need to have skills and know where the log jams are and a bunch of other factors and know how to navigate some rapids and stuff like that. And I'm in an angler's kayak, so I don't know how well suited that is for that type of thing. Whoa, you know what? I have to stop here because I just saw something picture worthy that I want to share with you. pull over really quick because there were some amazing reflections on the lake just a couple minutes ago. You can see it's the wind, it's a little choppy, the wind must be blowing out there, so the reflections dissipated. And the buzzkill is I realized my other camera, there was a little piece of dust on the sensor plate thing that I had to clear off, so there's a little black dot in the middle of the pictures. God darn it. What luck. But now the reflections, either we wait or we keep heading to our hike, but I just wanted to stop here. I got a couple shots, so. And now that the reflections disappeared, the people went away, but as soon as the reflections were out, watch out, man. People were all up in your face up in here. Here's a really nice view of these mountains that we're driving straight towards now. Taggart Lake is one of the glacial lakes formed by glaciers on these mountains. Glaciers that still exist today. We point out a few of them on previous episodes, but yeah, these mountains do still have glaciers up on them. Some of those white patches you see are likely, one or two of them are likely glaciers. And it's July right now, so the very beginning of July, and still snow and ice up there. That is just something right there. Oh my gosh. They look bigger than they did yesterday. How is that possible? All right, I want to show you this. This is the overflow parking for Jenny Lake and why I get so worried about the people factor. Jenny Lake is I think I've read it's probably the most popular spot, but you really got to be careful and watch out for stuff like that. Although he did a fantastic bang up job there, I would say. Good job, sir. But yeah, it's crazy. So that's why if I wanted to do the Jenny Lake episode, I would need to start early. And now you see why. You have to turn right, and somewhere way down there is where the actual lake is. So, and we're not done yet. So seeing this does not give me the warm fuzzies when it comes to Taggart and what we're going to find in that place. It's still going, by the way. Still going. Jeez Louise. Other than Jenny Lake, though, that's really the only place I've seen get like that in this park. Everywhere else I've been able to find parking. Granted, some of the parking lots are small and there might just be one or two spots left here and there, but for the most part, yeah, that seems to be the thing. Alrighty, folks. There's some more Grand Teton action. And our destination is down this path full of beautiful wildflowers. And you can see since I've parked here, there's a lot more folks starting to arrive. And we've got about 0.2 miles, 0.2 of a mile of parking before we get to the main parking lot. Oh, here you go. This is Taggart Lake Trailhead parking lot with all that overflow out on the main road. It's 4th of July weekend, so one should not be surprised. It's actually Monday, July the 3rd is the date of filming this, but you could see, yeah, they don't lie when they say things fill up. So the round trip, according to the sign, if we do the Taggart Lake Loop, which I think would be this guy, is about 3.2 miles. That's nothing. And this part of it goes through like a glacial moraine forest. Moraines, I think, are things that carved out the lakes, and there's a black bear that live back in there. And then there's the Taggart Lake Bradley Lake hike. Total mileage round trip is 5.9 miles, 3 hours, so 900 feet elevation gain. That would be this portion right there. And even though it's July, it's like the very beginning of, it's like spring almost for up in these elevations. And there's just so many wildflowers of different varieties. These are these weird yellow things here, but it's really beautiful. All right, so we are on a decision point now. So let's look at the sign up here. And I'm gonna follow the directions and do it in a counterclockwise direction. And as long as I don't get sick and puke again, I think I'm gonna try the Bradley Lake extension to this thing, making it about a 6-mile hike. For 6 miles is not that bad. All right, I think I'm gonna put the camera up for a little bit, get a few miles into this thing, and once we get to the lakes and closer to it, I imagine it's gonna be even more spectacular than what we see here. Oh wow, I hear a raging rapid right up here. I thought it was the wind, but it's not, it's water. Wow. Presumably glacial melt and snow melt. So Skyrim. That waterfall was almost worth a highlight on this trail. I didn't know about that. That was neat. You don't see a lot of that in Arizona. But it's so peaceful back here, and you just hear that running water all throughout back there. Very thick vegetation, so it would be easy to come across a bear, I would think, in a place like this, unexpectedly. Hear people ringing bells because there was a bear sighting apparently somewhere back here, according to some fellow hikers. So yeah, this family walked by. These two kids said bear sighting. I asked them what kind. They're pretty sure it was a black bear, a brown colored black bear, which you have. But by the time I get to where it was, it's probably gonna be gone. This area down here is absolutely marvelous. Came out of the woods and probably climbed some elevation and have had beautiful views of the Tetons as we've walked up the trail for a while. Looks like we're coming up on the decision point here. This might be where we do the counterclockwise. Bradley Lake is 1 mile that way. Taggart is a half mile that way. I think since the theme is Taggart Lake of this video so far, we're gonna go see that first. And then if I have to come back and do another half mile, no big whoop. We got it. And now all of a sudden we find ourselves in a flat pine forest filled with what appear to be lupine. Bunch of them over here. And it's that wonderful smell of a pine forest. Not quite like ponderosa pine, but nonetheless a familiar scent to me. All right, folks, we found it. Taggart Lake. Another beautiful lake here in the Tetons. what we'll do. There's a bridge over there actually that probably has some good views. People are hanging out over there. So let's go check that out really quick. And maybe we'll turn and go around the other side of the lake before we head over to the other lake that I want to take you out to, Bradley Lake. You just hear birds chirping, and if you get away from the main area, you can get away from the sound of kids saying, "I'm gonna pee on you, I'm gonna pee on you." Yeah, I heard that. This is very chill. Wow, this is pretty. Just look how crystal clear these waters are up here. All of the lakes are like this. This is probably the part of the trail that is the Taggart Loop that starts to head south through the glacial moraine forest where black bear are supposed to be a common sight. I might poke my head around in here really quick, but this isn't. I want to go to the other lake instead of doing this whole loop. So I didn't really walk that far, really. If you go to the left when you get to the Taggart Lake, cross the bridge, and then the lake is kind of a memory. I don't think it goes around the other side. So what I'm gonna do is, it's kind of a small lake. I'm gonna go back to where we started and go around the other side of the lake and look for some other good spots for photos. Well, that's pretty cool. I could have gone back. That's where you get to the Taggart Lake proper. And it says if we follow this trail this way, Bradley Lake's 1.4 miles. So it must be a little loop where I'll be able to connect back with the other trail to get back to the parking lot. So that's pretty cool, especially because nobody seems to be going this way. Now this is the type of seclusion I seek. I take it a lot of people don't bother with Bradley Lake, but we'll find out when we get there. I get to enjoy a shady walk through the woods, and it's hot. I bet it's only in the 70s or lower 80s, but I don't know what it is about the sun out here. It's hot. Just notice a nice view here, and I don't even hear the sound of a single person. Wow, this part of the lake opens up. This is where you really want to go, I think, if you want to do Taggart Lake right. Because there's nobody here at all. I have this whole place to myself, and the trail kind of follows this. It follows this lake around, basically. So where all the people were, there's like a little skinny opening there that there's more lake on the other side. But why would you not take the time to walk over here? Just look at how that towers over this landscape as we hike, how lush and green this is, and all these wildflowers out here. Haven't seen many wildflowers, but here you got a bunch of yellow ones. It's beautiful. Man, the pines, the flowers, all of it. All of it. I might have to say I'm enjoying this hike from Taggart Lake to Bradley Lake more than I enjoyed the hike from the parking lot to Taggart Lake. Just some of these views and being in these giant pines out here with the mountains in the background like that. You get some of that, of course, as you saw on that trail to Taggart, but this is special. This is real special. It's what the doctor ordered. This just strikes me as where one might see a bear. I don't know if there's wild berries up here. I know they have huckleberry up here. They got wild raspberries, some other things that the bears like. But visibility's not too good up here. And there's Taggart Lake down below. I actually can't even see the bridge that I was on from here. Hard for you to see it probably. But you could, mainly my main point is, look how high up I came. I wasn't anticipating all this climb, and it's tough. I think it's the elevation. I'm really short on breath. And there it is, our first view of Bradley Lake. Hidden out here, a lot deeper and higher elevation, I would say. It's not as far down as Taggart is looking the other way. So that's pretty cool. I just heard someone else dry heaving back here somewhere. So I'm not right now, but it sounds like me yesterday. It's making me think there's something to the elevation. More and more, but we're going downhill now. I can't tell you how good that feels. We were going up for a long ways. All right, we actually made it to the shores of Lake Bradley. And what a sight is this. Smaller than Taggart, I would say, but it's chillier up here. I think because the sun's behind the clouds right now, it's starting to cloud up fast. With a chance of rain today, that worries me a little bit. So, you know, I don't want to get cold. I can keep my stuff dry, I think. But, man, this is beautiful. All right, I think the plan is I'm gonna swing around, see if we can catch another view or two. And then let's get out of here because this is worrisome. It's all blowing in from the southwest, it looks like. I can't really get a good look at it. But it's getting darker faster. It is amazing how fast this happened. Like minutes ago, I did not see any of that, and I hear thunder on the horizon. So we're gonna 2.1 miles to get to the Taggart Lake parking trail. So I am still making that beeline back. Thunder is getting more frequent. Minutes since I left the lake. Minutes. I've never seen a storm form this quickly. So I'm making a beeline, like I said, to the parking lot because I didn't think to prepare to be warm. I think I'll probably be okay, but then again, with as quickly as this just formed. Hear that? I want to put the camera away to be safe. There's Taggart Lake down below. So hoping it's all downhill from here, at the very least. Make it go faster. Alrighty, so you might be jolted out of your seat now wondering like, well, we just went from hiking in the Grand Tetons to sitting in your office at home in Arizona. That is correct. I will fully own that that video abruptly ended and there was no official ending. That's what I'm doing here all of these days later after the trip. So leading up to that very last clip that I filmed, just to describe what happened the rest of the way, it started to rain more and I kind of panicked, put my camera equipment in my backpack, realized I didn't have the cover that makes the backpack waterproof, and I was thinking, oh crap, I've got expensive cameras in here, still got a couple miles to go, and started to jog like a lot of other people did. So I was moving, I was hustling, trying to beat the rain. the end result of that was I did some running and I wasn't prepared. So that, of course, contributed to this weird illness that I had this whole trip, this nausea, not feeling well. This time, I think, for just straight up exerting myself, being out of shape and trying to run, all of that kind of stuff. So I was probably dry heaving as I was trying to hike and beat the rain, and it wasn't a pretty sight, and the video just abruptly stopped right then and there. Well, folks, I think this is the appropriate place to end this particular video. Not our usual way to end it, but what are you gonna do? Wanted to use this opportunity to say if you like this content, we got plenty more where that came from, more coming out in the future, a huge back catalog to go check out and binge watch, and of course, if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and tell all your friends about the Cactus Atlas. We'll see you next time, and thanks for hanging out again. Bye-bye.